Yes, the rumours are true. Me, a Seiko fanboy, just bought a Citizen. Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. And today have I got a doozy for you. Now, it's no secret, I am definitely a Seiko fan and currently a proud owner of 11 Seikos in my watch collection. 0 Citizen! Yes, thanks for pointing that out. Now listen, Citizen has just never been a brand for me. None of their watches have ever sung to me. Now on paper, they should, shouldn't they? I love brand history and Citizen have been going since the early 1900s. I love pioneers in this watch space. Citizen making one of the first, if not the first, waterproof watch. And another example, making the first titanium watch in the 1970s. However, Citizen have always tried to be busy in their dials most of the time. And to me, they've been the only brand able to make a busy dial look dull. 2025 is going to be different. I finally put my money into a Citizen watch. I know. This watch on paper ticks all the boxes for me. A couple of boxes in the negative department, but listen, no watch is perfect. But is this Citizen finally going to be the one that stays in a watch collection of mine? And what does the wife think about it? Are you Citizen ready? Let's go. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this absolute beast. I give you the JP200, otherwise known as the Aqualand. This watch is so in my wheelhouse for the style, it makes me slightly annoyed I haven't reviewed this sooner. Now the Aqualand reference is very pioneering for Citizen, as they were the first company to make a depth gauge on a dive watch. And it made such big huge waves, by 89, Citizen had come up with their own line of Pro Masters, professional tools for divers all around the world. This JP200 is a revamped version of that 86 reference and it came out in the early 90s. I am a huge fan of a bead-blasted case, especially when it comes to tool watches. It didn't half make them look ready for business. To me, this watch looks very military. With military watches comes high legibility. It's a no-nonsense looking tool watch where the brand has taken function over form. I mean, yes, the depth gauge on the left looks like a landing pad for a miniature Millennium Falcon, but in these days we are crying for a character and personality, and this is awesome. But the main thing I was surprised by when I took this out the box was it's not as big as I thought it would be. Now yes, on paper it may be a chunky watch, but there's enough cuttings and angles on that bead blasted case to hide the girth of this watch easily. There's a lot of textures on the polished pushers, as well as the knurled crown, the beautiful shiny grip on the bezel. The more I look at this watch, the more I'm annoyed I haven't seen this earlier. The strap it comes with feels stiffer than a stiff man's stiff bits, and there may be an issue with that I'll tell you about in a minute, but on first impressions, this thing is absolutely awesome. Quick spec check! Right, so if we go from left to right down the center, this watch is 50 millimeters in diameter. If we don't include it, this watch is 44 millimeters, which I'm very surprised about because to me, it doesn't look or feel like a 44 millimeter watch. Let's see how it wears. We've got a lug to lug of 47 millimeters. It's 14 millimeters thick, which isn't too chunky, but we've got a very unstrapaholic lug width of 24 millimeters. I mean, flipping heck. I don't know about you, but I've bought a lot of straps in my time and never have they been for a 24 millimeter lug width. Anyway, the dial is protected by a mineral glass with no AR coating. We have a screwed crown at 4 o'clock with a screw-in case back. This watch is an ISO certified 200 meter diver. So not just pressure tested by the brand, this has had to gone through far deeper depths than the 200, and that should put you in perfect confidence in whatever situation in life you are in 2025. Now, even though this watch is very asymmetrical, I do like some of the symmetry to it, i.e. the pushers that are coming out of 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the crown at 4 o'clock, and the final pusher at 8 o'clock. With that many pushers and buttons and screws, this watch is not just gonna tell the time, you know?
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Right, let's go on to the bezel. It's a 60 click unidirectional bezel, great knurling. It is a polished knurling, which looks good, aesthetically looks good, but if it was brushed or bead blasted like the case, it would be very, very grippy. I like the fact it's 60 click and it's got a decent click to it. To me, it's got a military click, you know, nothing refined, nothing out of the ordinary, but personally, I probably would take it over an SKX's bezel action. A little bit of back play, yes, and the click's pretty nice though. Oh yeah. Not bad at all. I love the aluminium insert and the Lume pip at 12 o'clock. This is a proper ISO certified diver, remember? This is awesome. Proper 90s awesome. Now, I say the most negative part about this watch is probably the strap, because there's probably more give in your front door than there is this strap. So tough. It's the toughest rubber diver strap I've ever, you know, handled. This is not going to be nice when it's on the wrist, I doubt it. And may put a lot of people off buying it. The two keepers are great, as well as the tang buckle, because it mimics the look of the case. Apart from that, it's a bit of a stinker. Okay, let's look at the face. Dial time. And yes, if you don't know by now, this is a quartz watch. We've got an LCD display at the top of this dial, as well as an analog clock. Notice that the time is different to the analog part. They are not slaved together, which does have its positives and minuses. Does remind me of the Seiko Arnie I own. It's a very 80s, 90s look. But the dial itself is very no nonsense. It's matte black, printed big bold indices with generous globs of Lume on them. Really do like the goldy Divers 200 printed text. I like the slightly sloping reholt that goes into the dial. It's just a very well thought out looking thing, isn't it? Not built to look good, but built to, well, tell the time quickly. And I must admit, I have never seen a brighter minute hand than this one. This one almost looks illuminous orange, it's that bright. I'm slightly disappointed that this seconds hand has the lollipop on the counterbalance and not on the tip, as the only function it has now is to tell you that the watch is still working. But I absolutely love this dial. Superb! So we've got Lume on the bezel pip, Lume on the hour markers, and Lume on the hands. Out of 10, how much does this puppy glow? And yes, it's a proper diver with a very generous amount of Lume painted all over this watch. But I think it's more than acceptable for a diver. So inside this watch is a very sophisticated, well, back then, diving computer movement, you know? It's quartz, it takes a battery. You can tell this is an older Citizen because it's not an eco drive. This watch is going to last about 3 years, maybe 4, if you don't use a lot of the diving functions. The crown at 4 o'clock works as a normal analog watch. With the digital display, the bottom left pusher is the mode. The instructions for each button has been laser etched into the case. And then pushing it one more time, we have the date and the day of the week. Now, keep your finger on the mode button and that will activate the diving features. So I think there's about 5 logged results you can store in this watch. It stores how long your dive was and how deep you went. The only thing that this module is missing on this digital part is a backlight. When it's dark, well, you're not going to be able to use any of the digital features. That and it not being solar powered, that's the 2 downers.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and people, this is proof you should never judge a book by its cover, i.e. ever think that a 44mm watch is not gonna fit your small wrist. To me, the watch head fits beautifully. It is the strap that slightly lets it down. It's not massively comfortable. It's a bit of a pain to get through both keepers, but when it's on, this is awesome. So there we go, the JP200 Aqualand. What do you lot think? For me, this is awesome. This is the best Citizen that has ever been on my wrist. I love the bead blasted case. I love the polished pushers. I love the knurling on the crown and the bezel. The dial is hugely legible. The brightest minute hand I've ever seen. Love the anti-digi display. And the depth gauge just sets it apart from any other watch I have in my collection. Negatives, the strap is awful. And I really wanted to like it, but it is not comfortable whatsoever. I mean, yes, it's built for going over a wetsuit. The difficulty I'm gonna have is trying to find a good strap for this. And out there, if you're an owner of an Aqualand and you've bought some aftermarket straps, help me out and tell me some ones I could buy. This watch is not solar powered, which means I'm gonna have to change the battery after 3 years. Not having a backlight on the LCD display. Now, it was last week I bought this watch on Amazon. It was the cheapest price I have ever found this ever before, brand new. It was £259. The annoying thing is it's gone a lot up in price in the week or 2 weeks I've bought it. There are places you can find it, but you'll be very lucky to find it at this price now. So overall, 100% I think it's a winner. So much so, this is gonna stay in my collection this year. I finally own and love a Citizen. Okay, calm down. Yes, I must do that. The Seikos may be jealous, but I love it. So here it is, my wife's views on the Aqualand JP200. This is absolutely awful. To me, it looks like a dartboard. And what's that thing on the left? Looks like a placemat for a mug of tea. Okay. Just remember MWC, she's not the one wearing it. You are. You love it. Okay, don't listen to her. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector Show, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this one? This is lovely. I'm very proud of this one. One of my proudest moments, obviously. And you'll find it too. I think you'll be proud as well. Oh, I can't stop looking at this Citizen. Go on, click it. Click it.